Okay, we're looking at problem number 41B on page 146 under implicit differentiation. Now, part A, we've got the answer to that. So part B just says show that the equation of the tangent line to the ellipse x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1 at x sub naught and y sub naught is x naught x over a squared plus y naught y over b squared equals 1. So let's start with that. This is number 41B. So we're going to start with the equation x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1. Now when we find this derivative, we're going to get 2x over a squared plus 2y y prime over b squared equals 0. Now let's solve for y prime. We'll see that y prime is equal to negative 2x divided by a squared. Then we're going to multiply by b squared and divide by 2y. Now let me rewrite that so it's a little clearer. So this would be negative b squared, negative 2b squared, x over 2a squared y. The 2's cancel out and we just get negative b squared x over a squared y. Now, if we're looking for the tangent line, at x naught, y naught, we're going to get y minus y naught equals this derivative here, negative b squared x over a squared y times x minus x naught. Now let's work this through and clean it up a little bit. This will give us negative b squared. Now this is negative b squared. It should be at x naught, y naught here. X naught times x over a squared y naught plus b squared x naught squared over a squared y naught. Now that's just taking this and distributing across that. Now let's go through and multiply each side by y naught. So we're going to take y naught times this, and then y naught times this, negative b squared x naught x over a squared y naught plus b squared x naught squared over a squared y naught. This will give us y naught times y minus y naught squared. And over here the y naughts just cancel out. That'll give us negative b squared x naught x over a squared plus b squared x naught squared over a squared. Now let's take it a step further. Let's divide or multiply everything by 1 over b squared. And we'll do that on both sides. Let's put it here. It's just looking a little messy here, but I'll clean it up in just a minute. 1 over b squared. So this is going to give me y naught y over b squared minus y naught squared over b squared. And over here the b squareds cancel out, so I'm going to be left with negative x naught x over a squared plus x naught squared over a squared. Now, it doesn't look like it, but I'm almost where I want to be on this. I'm going to take the y naught and move it over here and take the x naught and move it over here. I think that's what I want to do. Let me look at this a little closer. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to move this negative over here and this negative over here. So I'm going to get y naught y over b squared plus x naught x over a squared equals x naught squared over a squared plus y naught squared over b squared. Let's see, does that look like what I want? I think it does. Now on this side I know that x naught squared over a squared plus y naught squared over b squared has to equal 1. That's the definition of from back up here. So I'm just using it down here. So that means that y naught y over b squared plus x naught x over a squared also has to equal 1. If this side is 1, then that side has to be 1. And we're done.